Okay, so one of the things that I tell people is that there's literally thousands of screenshots. So this is the gallery, I guess, on my um, computer here. And if you look here, it says there are 22,638 photos and 1,973 videos. That's a lot. Now, nearly all of this stuff is stuff where the situation over Natalie is what's being discussed. Not just the situation with Natalie, but also the threats, harassment, and assault since then. There are a lot of people that seem to think that just because they didn't see it, that it must not be true and didn't happen. Between looking at a video of somebody physically assaulting me and treating me like I'm schizophrenic, most people would rather treat me like I'm schizophrenic. And then, of course, there's all of the hassle that I get from people who want to pretend that I'm a bad person for sticking up for schizophrenic people. But statistically, they're 12 times more likely to be abused in just about every type of way over somebody who's not. The reason that people choose somebody who's schizophrenic to abuse is because nobody's going to believe them. And that's one of the things with using the mentally ill tag for anybody who has a mental illness. PTSD, that's post traumatic stress disorder, that's a mental illness. It's in the DSM 5. It's something that you can get from being abused. Just because you have PTSD does not mean that you're schizophrenic. And that's the thing about using the mentally ill tag in the way that it's used. Now let's look at how many videos there are. We'll scroll down a little bit. This is from November of 2020. Um, let's see. This is a whole bunch of stuff about parts that need fixed on my car. Some of the trolling that people were doing, and some information on. Oh, and it tells me what folder they're in now. That's pretty cool. Information on the AR-15/M16 platform. Like I was telling you, the situation in Nebraska with the guy who had bad ideas. Here's a bunch of the stuff from Facebook and YouTube. Some of it, like these ones right here, are about missing people. I'll zoom in on that real quick. And there are quite a few in here on specifically on missing people. And like I said, there's 22,000 of these screenshots. Some of them are screenshots of threats against me and my friends and family. Some of them are screenshots that show people's opinions. Some of them are screenshots of, well, there's quite a bit. This is me in a gas mask. Which, of course, when I have pictures like that, people pretend I'm some sort of freak or weirdo. You know, dressing up for Halloween. Even if other people are dressing up for Halloween, I gotta be aware of the fact that other people will use that to pretend I'm some sort of schizo-delusional nut job. This is a picture of Samuel L. Jackson that I drew for Natalie. This one right here is the front end of a jet engine that I made, pulse jet actually, which is pretty cool. This one right here in the upper right hand corner is actually a picture of some of my parts and the jet engine itself from the side. That was it. Kenneth Wilson and Leatha Plunkett's. So these are screenshots that I had to accumulate over time of all of the situations, who I was in contact with and about what. I documented who it was that was getting a hold of me and threatening me and my friends and family, what it is that they were saying, and, you know, the information that I was told to collect on the people who were stalking me. Of course, it takes somebody actually looking at it and helping you to turn it in for it to make any difference. And while these folks, oh, here's Bobby Forrest, and he showed pictures of his injuries too. A lot of people, once they decide they want to be my friends, they want to send me pictures of their injuries. It's pretty gory. Anna Hunka did that, Natalie Bollinger did that, and of course, Bobby Forrest did the same thing. This is the guy who, on several occasions, let me know that Alicia Bollinger was missing, and they needed help finding her. And of course, people were threatening to kill my friends and family, so I knew something was up. This part right here is from when I was in Washington State. Um, so I can look at the pictures that are in these and be able to tell you what was going on and where they were at. I do remember these situations very well, matter of fact. Um, but like I said, there's also a lot of videos where I talk about the situation. Some of them are conversations with witnesses. Some of them is evidence of the people who are threatening to kill me and my friends and family. Some of them are uh, the issues that I was having with connections. Some of them, like these ones right here, are from telephones where the conversations that I'm having with people actually do make a difference. Many of these people I was treated like I made them up or like I wasn't in contact with them, and obviously there was contact. This one right here, I believe, is one of the ones with um, Darren O'Connor in Nebraska. And as we scroll down a little further, we're just clicking on it every so often because obviously I'm not going to scroll through 22,000 photos. Some of these pictures were taken double. Some of the pictures were, like you could see here at the top, it was taking two pictures at a time for some odd reason. Same thing here. Um, and also, there was some stuff that as soon as I was downloading what it needed to, it started downloading, like, for example, one of them is a bunch of anime girl animation advertisements. One of them is a whole bunch of online game advertisements. You get to see here, I think these might be with Natalie, I'm not for certain. Um, some of these are with Natalie's ex-stepmom. Some of these are with Miss Jerry. When the cops said that nobody would help me, probably because of the way that I act, the fact is people were trying to help me. This is when I was in Nebraska. Um, this is Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, approaching it while there's a bunch of fog coming through in between them. And of course, here is the only dick pic I ever send anybody. You're going to love this. Goblin spotted dick pudding. All right. So, not literally everything is about the Natalie situation, but realistically, all of the traveling that I had to do is all over the Natalie situation. The abuse, having to flee abuse, having to try to get heard, and of course, going to mandatory reporters who wanted to tell me to go other places. When it comes to all of the evidence, I had no problem sharing it with anybody, obviously. I let all of these people know what was up. I sent them copies of the stuff that I had, and of course, we're back at May 2018. And this is, let's see, what's in the background? Okay, so I believe that this was at, God, what's her name? Tabitha Michelle Cook's. We'll have to see if there's a helmet in the background. If there is, then it's definitely Tabitha Michelle Cook's. This is from April of 2018. This has got information like here. This is Maddie Boa right here. And these are all messages with her. She's the one that wanted to run around Boulder spreading rumors that she knew were not true. Here's from March of 2018, and this one's got some pictures of some cool stuff that I saw. This is while I was in Montana. That's a picture of me with a baby goat. And there's some of the other animals at the farm. And then there's some missing persons stuff from before Natalie was killed. That's Sarah Rubiolo, and that's Hannah Pendergrast. When they went missing, of course, I tried to help find them. Sarah was happy about the fact that people would even care and help to find her. She brought her mother to meet me and invited me to go to her graduation, which I did attend. Hannah, on the other hand, after she was found, I only saw her once, and she was at the Boulder bus station, and she was very mean to me. She was angry that she was found. So you never know how somebody's going to react. When you want to assume that everybody's going to react the same way, well, that's not very useful. And then there's, of course, these ones right here are with, oh, come on now. Well, I was going to show you one of the people who, somebody calling herself Missy, adopted somebody else's profile. And I was already used to this. I mean, by the time that Natalie was killed, I'd already had dozens of people get a hold of me pretending to be my friends, pretending to be people that I know, just to threaten me. So it was something I was used to. Also, people had made several fake Sean Schwartz accounts with people with Down syndrome as the person on the front and pretending to be me. And Jerry Sparks was actually friends with one of these fake accounts, and the conversations in here show it. This is all stuff between Natalie and I. So, this is the stuff that I sent to the Villains Crime on YouTube. But obviously, we've only been clicking through at random and finding stuff. There's a lot of stuff on here I'm actually glad we haven't run into, because it's not quite something you would want children to see. There's also various people who, well, like, for example, this dog in the picture down here. That was a lady who asked if she could use my phone, and I was kind enough to let her. She was homeless, so she stole my phone. So then a woman in Hawaii sent me $100 so that I could get the gas to leave being stranded in Tacoma. And I had to spend that $100 to get this lady a new telephone so that I could get my telephone full of evidence back from her. Not that it mattered. There's so many drug addicts and tweakers out there. It's just like Tillamook. Anywhere that I go as a homeless person, there's going to be junkies who are going to steal my shit to pay for their junk. There are going to be people who justify that it's okay for them to steal it from me just because I have it. And obviously, they don't care that I'm doing something kind for them. They're still going to be selfish people. And the stuff on my YouTube channel with her, because it's not just these pictures, there's a whole situation that was recorded on my YouTube channel over this. So, this is something where, like I said, there's so much evidence, and, going through it all is going to take forever. And let's see, these ones are from Washington State. I can tell by looking at the pictures where exactly it is, actually. This is the alley behind the uh, food store there, and um, right next to the Starbucks. It's on 72nd. Anyway, obviously, we're not actually showing every little piece of evidence here. What I'm showing you in this video is the mass quantities of it, how much there is, how long of a story it is, how many people have been involved. I mean, there's a lot. This is Adara Sin. She was involved in the story. Some of these are information that people are sending to me or that they wanted me to look up, or in some cases, people who are just trolling me. But, I mean, you get to see there is a lot. There is a bunch. Oh, here's some of people sending me pictures of their sliced up toes. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that like sending me pictures of gore as well. Um, yeah, I mean, this is something where, all right, oh, here we go. This is some of the stuff that I was trying to show. These are all toys. None of these are actual AR-15s. These are all BB guns. They all run on CO2. And this is some knockoff ones, and this is a thing where there was what's his name, Ventus, wanted to know about my guns. Meanwhile, they were CO2 powered. So I was trying to explain to him the situation and show that to him, and downloaded it so that I could show him that stuff. I also was trying to explain to him that some of those were actually for Dallas and his kids, because Dallas has actual guns, but you don't want to teach kids with actual guns. If they make a mistake, you want to teach them with something that's safe, something that if they accidentally shoot themselves in the foot with a Nerf dart, they're not going to the hospital with a gunshot wound. So it was a situation where um, I should probably explain that whole situation with trying to start a business that was COVID friendly, because obviously during COVID, people aren't wanting to interact physically. They don't want to get COVID. They don't want to get sick, but they still want to go outside. They still want to do things. Well, you can effectively do the paintball thing or the airsoft thing without having to get super close to people. Or if you and your family are sick of living out on the farm and going, what the hell are we going to do? Well, then you can, you know, rent a day of using the equipment and go have a blast. That didn't end up working. A lot of that was due to the abuse at the time and police refusing to help. You can see here my hair's messed up in this picture, and my hair is messed up again. It gets pretty long and it gets pretty shaggy. So best thing I can do is to cut my hair when I'm able to. I have bought several electric clippers to cut my hair, but one of them is out at storage, which I'm not able to get to and get into, and the other one was in my car. So I gotta I gotta go pay to get my hair cut again, obviously. That has nothing to do with my case, and it has nothing to do with the quantity of evidence. These ones right here, I believe, are from San Juan County, Colorado, a piece of property that I was wanting to buy and had spoken to Natalie about, I believe. In our messages, we actually talked about quite a bit of stuff. But not all of these messages are from Natalie. Most of these messages are from other people who were involved in the situation, both before and after the case, or both before and after she was killed. The difference between before she was killed and after she was killed is the quantity of predators that I had to deal with. Many of those people, may not have even had the intention of being predatory to begin with. But again, a lot of these people were women who had expectations, and if I didn't do what they wanted, they'd throw tantrums, and they all had conflicting ideas of what I should be doing. What I tried to follow is the instructions that I was given for turning in abuse to mandatory reporters, whether it be the police, the hospital, emergency medical services, whoever it happens to be. But people didn't want to hear that or learn that stuff or let me read it to them so they're aware. Matter of fact, Claire let me read that to her a few days ago, and that's actually recorded on this channel. I was able to download it, I want to say today or maybe yesterday. Oh, it's 12:41 a.m. So, yeah, it's apparently not something I downloaded today. It would have been yesterday or the day before. But, we've got all of this stuff, and it's obvious that these do exist. The videos exist. These ones definitely have me in them. These ones are definitely screenshots of things that people are typing at me either over the phone or in Facebook. There's, like I said, a lot of it. Anyway, I'm going to close this out just because this video is 22 minutes long. You can also see that there's a bunch of these recordings we still haven't gone through yet. I don't think we went through any of the ones between here and here. And I still haven't listened to these four at the very end. And again, like I was saying, there's also these over here. Let's see if this is one of the ones with stuff that's let's see, open. We'll see if I've actually gone through and started naming these ones yet. Okay, so this one right here, there's 17 recordings in this one, and I haven't gone through this one at all yet. There's like 4 or 5 of them that I haven't gone through yet. Now, with the evidence in the videos that we've played already, it's pretty obvious that these are probably just as important. The most important one over the last few days is the one, in my opinion, the one where Claire actually was on the phone while I was talking to the folks, talking to Brandon in specific. I think those are all very important calls, but that one right there kind of shows that she did try, but also some of her decisions might not have been the best. Also, that she's willing to work on it, and that's better than nothing. That's absolutely better than no help at all. So I'm gonna start downloading this video to the internet. Like I said, the mentally ill thing is always an insult. It's always used to discredit somebody. When it comes to our disabilities, it's not okay, first of all, to ignore abuse against schizophrenic people. Second of all, it is not okay to pretend that every victim who you just don't happen to like is schizophrenic so that you don't have to do your job. If somebody's being abused, you still have to do your job. Now, I understand if there's a schizophrenic person who is telling you that a magic unicorn came and visited them in their sleep and told them that they're going to give birth to the second coming of Jesus. Well, I can kind of understand how that's not something you'd take seriously. But when somebody is schizophrenic and they're telling you that they were physically assaulted by their, closest family member, the person that they're supposed to rely on, they're supposed to try to trust, that is something that needs to be taken a look at instead of brushed off casually. And when there's people who are not schizophrenic, but they're being treated like they're schizophrenic and called schizophrenic and abused in the same fashion as a schizophrenic because these people know that they can get away with it, that's gaslighting. And it is just as wrong to do that to somebody who's not schizophrenic as it is to somebody who's schizophrenic. It's kind of like these people who want to scream that I'm a homosexual when they assault me. Well, just because I'm not homosexual doesn't make it okay to assault me. That doesn't magically justify it. In my personal opinion, it's still a hate crime. I'm still a part of the LGBT community. I'm just not gay. Just because they made a wrong diagnosis about my sexual orientation still doesn't justify the assault. And to argue the sentiment over whether or not I'm black when somebody screams the N-word at me when they're assaulting me, well, they're still assaulting me. And if they're assaulting me while screaming about me being Jewish, well, that is a hate crime. If they're assaulting me while calling me a homosexual, that is still a hate crime. And I'm also tired of having to defend schizophrenics out here on the streets because when they're assaulted, even if it's recorded, the police refuse to take it seriously. The mental health system refuses to take it seriously. And they're being murdered in record numbers out here. Anyway, I'm going to end this video and download it. I know that it doesn't have a lot of really important evidence in it as far as specifics go, but it does have important evidence in it as far as how much evidence there is overall. That's just the screenshots and videos that it was saved in that one profile. That's not counting all of the stuff and all of these other files on my computer, and there's a lot of them. And then there's the, well, if I knew where I put it, I've got a waterproof container that I purchased very specifically so that when these computers got full and I had to buy USB drives to start saving the evidence on, I ended up with so many of them that they fill up an entire container. Now you can see this is probably twice the size of a cigarette pack, and it's full. It's full of USB drives. You know, some of them are pretty big. I think there might actually be one in there that's close to a terabyte. I'm probably wrong about that. I know that there's at least two of them that are 256s. There's probably 3 or 4 of them that are. And yeah, this is the stuff that I had to put onto these so that I could make my computer run because it was so full of this stuff. And obviously not all of those videos are videos of people assaulting me. Some of those videos are only being recorded because I'm having to go somewhere or walk by somewhere where I've been assaulted previously and I have to get to where I'm going. So it's not like I have the option of driving a vehicle I don't have, 6 miles in a circuit in order to get to a destination that's only 3 blocks away. This is a situation where repeatedly I'm expected to do things I obviously am incapable of doing. And then people want to ignore the fact that I'm incapable and then treat me like shit because I'm not doing something that they wanted me to. Then there's a situation where, half the people that were promising they were going to help me wanted me to do one thing, and half of them wanted me to do another. And if I do what one half of them wants me to, then the other half of them throw a tantrum, and I don't want to help myself because I'm not doing what they want right when they want it. You know, so many of these women who, when I posted up the fact that they procrastinated and wasted my time, and instead of helping me turn in the abuse like they claimed that they were going to, what they were doing is pulling out little bits and pieces to try to paint me as a bad person in these Natalie Bollinger groups. Then they want to play victim when they get busted doing this stuff. And in all of this, I'm treated like none of this matters, none of it's important. And even with all of the evidence and with all of the people who are aware that it's not a schizophrenic delusion, the fact is, if we don't go in together right away, as soon as possible, as soon as you are available, the fact is that you are setting me up for failure. Because as a disabled person, I am dependent on friends or family members when I have to turn in abuse. That's the only way to do it effectively. I've been talking for a while, so let's end this video. I want to try to get some sleep, and it's 1 in the morning. Obviously, I spent most of the day trying to download these videos to the internet and, you know, trying to nap when I can in between, and I hurt everywhere, and I definitely have a cold, and I'm glad to be over the flu at least. I suppose that's our positive outlook for the day. At least I'm over the flu.